I say to this day, and I do it based on my reaction. Obviously, this is personal. I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. First time I ever stood up, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up. I was just like, oh!
I saw that. I saw you stand up. That's the first time I see
it. was just, what?
Unexpected in the last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3.
I'm a little up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
When Anthony Joshua delivered the devastating 6th-round knockout that shut down Jake Paul in their long-awaited heavyweight clash, Joe Rogan's live reaction said everything about the magnitude of the moment. Having repeatedly warned about Joshua's lethal one-punch power and the risks Paul was taking, Rogan didn't hesitate when the shot landed. He instantly framed it as more than just a fight-ending blow, calling it a seismic moment for combat sports, and one that could be remembered as one of the most brutal, unforgettable knockouts in boxing history.
Come full steam ahead 100 miles an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided.
The bout, officially billed as Judgment Day, was scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division, with Anthony Joshua entering as the overwhelming favorite thanks to his elite resume and clear physical advantages. Joshua stood 6'6" and weighed around 243 pounds, dwarfing Jake Paul, who came in at roughly 216 pounds. After a cautious start, Joshua began asserting his dominance, dropping Paul multiple times in the 5th round. The end came in the 6th, when Joshua unleashed a thunderous right hand at 131, sending Paul crashing to the canvas and forcing the referee to bring a decisive halt to the contest.
Anthony Joshua. Paul was sturdy for the first couple of rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the 2nd time in his career.
Anthony Joshua was candid in his post-fight assessment, admitting that despite securing a 6th-round knockout, he didn't believe it was his best performance. He felt he could have done far better, acknowledging that he struggled early to land clean shots and wasn't able to corner Jake Paul as quickly as many expected. While he accepted the result as a win, Joshua stopped short of calling it a success, stressing that there's still significant room for improvement moving forward.
Performance by Jake, brother. Fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh was a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Never out. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing.
And got up like 2 times.
No.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
Nagano, so many people, bro. They're over him, right? Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are going to say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake Paul? Where does he go?
Despite the emphatic knockout, Joshua made sure to credit Jake Paul's toughness and determination, noting that even though the fight ended in a 6th-round stoppage, Paul showed genuine heart by repeatedly getting back to his feet and continuing to compete against a far more experienced former world champion. Joshua pointed out that few fighters would have been willing to step into the ring with someone of his caliber, adding that Paul's persistence and refusal to quit in difficult moments earned his respect.
Some people believe in fairy tales. Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale. I've got a friend in a group message that said, I just put $20 on Jake Paul to win. I was like, bro, you just wasted your money. There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua. It was always a matter of how the fight would end. So I watched all the pundits talking about the fight. Even Rosendo, my boxing coach, I was like, does Anthony Joshua represent boxing? Everybody from that world felt like Anthony Joshua was representing boxing. And as the fight started to go on, first off, He was representing boxing, so they wanted him to get the job done. All right, first and foremost. You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today, Jake Paul is more boxer than YouTuber. I've said this time and time again. When you have resources, when you can spend $1 million a year on training camps, housing, food, coaching, this is not recreational anymore. He's a boxer. He's just not a boxer at that level. I ran into his brother in New York City. And I said to Logan, what parameters are in place, Logan? What safeguards do they have to make sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't hurt your brother? He said there are none. He goes, they're going to just straight fight. So in that regard, you got to give credit.
Jake Paul suffered a broken jaw in his 6th round knockout defeat. After Anthony Joshua landed the crushing right hand that brought the fight to an end, Paul was left bloodied around the mouth and admitted during his post-fight interview that he believed his jaw was broken, a suspicion that was later confirmed.
I'm better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years. And the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's going to happen? I'm going to see a time when I'm going to take your soul and you're either going to give up or you're going to...
Staying true to his trademark bravado, Jake Paul responded defiantly on social media, posting a screenshot of his x-ray that revealed a double fracture in his jaw. Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days, Paul wrote. Medical scans later confirmed the jaw was broken in 2 places, commonly referred to as a double broken jaw. Remarkably, Paul drove himself to the hospital after the fight to receive treatment. Doctors estimated his recovery would take 4 to 6 weeks, and Paul continued to share images and updates online, confirming the injury and thanking fans for their support.
AJ's won 6 rounds. He kind of dismantled him. It took his time. How do you see it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe because Jake was moving so much, holding. He did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean,
We broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know. He knocked him out, but he was not unconscious. You know, I mean, look, he may not come back. If he has broken his jaw, it's a big injury to come back.
Well, there's pictures of him in hospital right now.
Well, listen, you've got to respect him because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't. I know he ran and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line. And, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
You see it?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp. And now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back.
Nikisa Badarian praised Jake Paul's heart, toughness, and overall game plan, pointing out that Paul performed admirably against one of the most feared punchers in heavyweight boxing, and may have even taken a few of the early rounds. However, he stressed that the true reason for Paul's loss wasn't a lack of boxing skill, but the stark size and weight disparity between the 2 fighters. Joshua's heavier frame and superior strength steadily drained Paul's energy and allowed the former champion to land punishing shots that ultimately produced the knockout. Badarian emphasized that Joshua's physical dominance was the decisive factor, adding that Paul's efforts still deserved respect despite the defeat.
Rogan, what's up, man? What's your reaction to it?
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has me.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and he took one.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Yeah.
Like, minus the actual victory, obviously, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet. Who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother is a fucking YouTuber. Went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I think he pissed him off. I was sick. I love AJ. But bro,
I saw you going.
I was fucking sick. I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw.
Nikita, just down here, Jeffrey from the Sun. Just to follow up on Jay, he said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update from Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA. And I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is